Welcome back to another Bossfight Studios review. In this review, we're going to be taking a look at Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S Mighty Steed Kawiki. This Mighty Steed is done in a 1/18 scale, and this is the packaging that it comes in. The overall packaging still sports that space theme and has a very large window box displaying the Mighty Steed. So on the top left of the box we have the Bossfight Studios logo, and on the top right we have adult collectible for ages 12 and up. On the front of the packaging on the left we have the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S logo. If you're not familiar with H.A.C.K.S, that stands for Highly Articulated Character Kit System. And on the very bottom right we have Mighty Steeds and the Kawiki just below that nameplate. The window box is not just on the front, it does continue up onto the top. So you can see down on top of the Mighty Steed. The side of the box here shows the same Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S logo. These have 32 points of articulation. They're easy customized and display stand is included. On this side it has the same information, but then we have the different photographs of the other Mighty Steeds. On the back of the packaging we have that Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S logo, and we have a very large picture of all the Mighty Steeds that are currently available. At the top you can collect them all. There's actually not all of them because there was 2 secret ones. There's another unicorn. That's Frankie, Sarah Francis I believe it is. And then there's H.A.C.K.S, which is pretty awesome. We are going to be taking a look at least H.A.C.K.S because that is one awesome design and it's going to be really cool. So don't forget to subscribe so whenever I upload that video you'll be able to check it out. The bottom of the half shows the Tact kits that you can modify all your Mighty Steeds with. In this case we are going to be looking at the Elven Tact kit. And we're going to review the Kawiki, and I'm going to show you how to put on the Elven Tact kit that fits the Kawiki. So to get this out of the packaging, all you have to do is cut here and here 2 pieces of tape. Those are kind of collector-friendly packaging that we're used to for the figures. So all we have to do is slide this out. And there's the background. There's nothing behind here. It's just a backdrop. Oh. So the stand is on the bottom. So we have the Mighty Steed right inside the clamshell. So pop this piece off. And let's see, we can slide out our stand. And then we can take out our Mighty Steed. So here's our Mighty Steed outside the packaging. So let's take a look at him. Let's start with the head. I did notice in the packaging that these are pretty much pushed together, and it looks like they are movable. So you can bring them out to wherever you want them. Looks really great. These are These are gray, two-tone gray antlers. They look fantastic. Let's get a close-up of that head sculpt. Just look at the sculpt work. Just to the fur and the head sculpt. The eyes look realistic. We have his ears. We have the fur into the sculpt work. The mouth. His nose looks fantastic. Looks great behind. Here we have some thicker, longer fur on his neck. Looks really cool. The remainder of his body, he has a tan color in plastic, and I just pulled off a leg. So this is what it looks like inside. has a ball joint. These do not look like they look like spread out at all. So just gonna put that back on. These are fully customizable, so I just pulled them a little too hard. So it doesn't look like the back leg spread, but we'll take a look at the articulation here shortly. But here's the side of him. You can see how well it painted. His hooves. You can see all the articulation. Here's his tail. Here's hind legs. We have some, is that like a blood vessel there? Furry hooves, gray hooves, with brown fur on them. On the bottom, painted pretty nicely. Then we have some peg holes in his feet for a stand, I'm assuming. But the stand he comes with does not have peg holes for those kind of stands. It's just a, it's more of a post type stand. But we'll look at that here shortly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Let's start with the head. Like I said, the antlers, they do spin all the way out. You probably can spin them all the way around if you wanted to. There's no articulation in the ears. So we have articulation at the antlers. They spin 360. Then we have articulation here, just at the top of the neck. Here we'll look down, up. Let's see if we get any side to sides on this guy. Well, you can, kind of misconstrue his side to side with a, I'm not sure if you can get a 360 out of this. I don't think so, because the way the top of the bottom of the jaw hits the top of the neck. So I guess you could force it if you wanted to, but it's not, I think it's meant to do that. It is on a ball joint. We're going to be taking a look at this when I remove the head so we can put on the, also going to show you how to put on the Elven Tact kit. And we'll take a look and see how that is in this video also. So he has articulation here at the bottom of the neck. Looks like we get side to side and up, down. Very nice. So the front legs, we have articulation here. So one thing I noticed about this particular honey seed is you can't see the legs here, you can't pull them out. You can't make his legs go like this. That's why I pulled that one off, so it kind of stops. So there's really no out on these. And I think the front legs are pretty much the same way. Yeah, as you can see the joint there. There's no joint that allows us to spread the legs out farther than they currently are. But you can go up on them. We can go back on them. Kind of almost like a, it's not really a sitting position, but that's the way his back legs currently are. So we go this forward. So just here we have articulation here, which can bend on both. And then we have articulation at pretty much almost down to his, I don't know if I call that an ankle, what we want to call it. But we have articulation here and out a little bit. And it's like it has some plastic that came out of there from the manufacturing. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. That's a lot of articulation for one leg. So we move back to the hind legs. Like I said, you cannot spread them, but you can, oops, rotate them. It's quite stiff. You can rotate them back, but they kind of crash into each other here in the rear. They go forward really well. So they have articulation right here, which we can Bring back like so. You want to do that. And that's the maximum forward right there. We have articulation here. And we go forward like that. And back to there. There's a piece right there where you can't go any further back. Then we have what we call the ankle articulation. So that goes forward and back also. Then have like a little toes there. That's really good. So that's forward and back. Looks great. The tail it rotates. If you want to do 360, you can, all the way around. But it kind of catches on the back legs. So let me go ahead and get this guy posed so we can stand him up. Okay, there he is. Looks really good. Overall, my impressions, the front legs seem to be a little bit stronger than the back legs. You know, sometimes they say, you know, we all want the best articulation, but sometimes too much articulation can be a downfall for a figure. So I think sometimes when you move it around, some of this extra articulation there gets and kind of moves and causes you to lose your stance. But the back legs are definitely just a little more loose, or at least on mine, than the front legs. So I kind of wish they had a little more of a different style joints on the hind legs, so you can spread them out and give them a little better stance. Like at least pull them out this way. But fortunately, there's not. It could be due to maybe stability. I'm not sure. But it'd have been nice. So like the packaging said, these are fully customizable. You can buy different tack kits. You can buy other accessories. So you can remove his head. You can remove his neck. And I believe, at least on the horses, and I believe this is pretty much probably the same body as the horses, that this piece right here is removable. This shoulder piece. And you can see it kind of does. But on here, he's really stiff. It makes you think that it's not removable, but I know it is because you can buy the Pegasus attack kit for the horses, or the evil Pegasus, or dark Pegasus, whatever they're calling it. I do not remember, but and then you can remove the tail, and obviously you can see me pull off the legs, so you can pull off the back legs, and we pull off the front legs too if you want to. So these are fully customizable. You can probably mix and match, you know, horse parts if you really wanted to get creative. So his stand is a black stand. It's quite large. See that there's two holes there. The only one that really has any importance is this one, because you can take these two pieces here. So what these are, so we have two different lengths. So what's going to happen? So these are actually hard plastic. So you're going to want to be careful with these. Probably won't hurt to heat this up, or even the hole. But when these go in here, and once you put that in there, they can move around. And you can get different positions if you want to do your horse, you know, bucking, standing on his hind legs, or whatever kind of stance you want. You get two different heights. But you always want to use this hole. This hole, I don't know why it's there. It serves no purpose. But this here is the one you want. But the trick to this is when you insert this really stiff. So if you hold up here and you try to shove this in, you're going to break this. You need to come down here and hold this. and then pick it up and hold closest to the ball as you can and push that in. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to keep pulling this one out to put that one in and vice versa. But it pretty much, you can see what it looks like. So this would be a higher one, and this one just pretty much would help him stabilize. Basically like this. But see, he's a little off because it's not pushed down. That'll help stabilize your mighty steed. And then if you put this one in there, you're talking like, you know, some pretty dynamic poses. But you get the idea. But the key thing from this is to how you put these in. Hold closest to the ball. Or you want to break them straight to the point. Alright, so let's take a look at a comparison to one of the elves. And this is how she looks with one of the Kawiki. And height-wise, she looks really good. And here she is. Here he is. He or she with Aspen. Well, actually, this head sculpt is the Aspen head sculpt. That's the alternate head, but that's how they would look all together. Looks fantastic. Let's get those figures out of the way. So if you guys seen my video for the Elven Tact kit for the Mighty Steeds, you might have seen this piece and this piece. So we're going to put that on in this video and show you how to put these on. So for the Kawiki, I'm not sure if it's the same as the horse. What we need to do is remove this head. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pause the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up and I'm going to pop the head off. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And I want to show you how to put on the headdress. And we'll go from there. Okay, here is our headless Kawiki. So this is what this looks like. It's just a hole inside and ball peg. Now heat this up for like 10 seconds or so just to help soften the plastic. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it makes it easier and it helps maybe prevent from breakage. So you can see how that looks on the range of articulation. Now how I got it off was I heated it and I watched your antlers, so I grabbed it on his face and I had it, so I started turning a little bit as I was pulling and it came off really easy. So that's how I got it off. Obviously you can do whatever you want, but that's how I did it. So let's set the body back here and we're going to focus on the headdress. So the easiest way is to grab your harness and your headdress and position it kind of like this. Oops. You're gonna put, and then have your horse. Well, have your head. We're gonna do a horse here in another video, but for this one, if you're using the Elven Tact kit, what you need to do is get this piece right here around his mouth, and this one around his neck. And all you really have to do is just set it inside there. Push as far as it'll go on his face. And then you have to come around and pop that up on there. Right? So I'm going to set this down. I'm going to heat up this part so we can get it back together. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I heated up this ball. It's a little warm. So you need to get the head to go between this part, because this is the part they're going to hold on to. And you just aim for the hole in the head and push it down. cannot seem to get that on. It's really tough. Oh, popped out. Sitting up inside the neck, so that makes it kind of difficult. I think I got it. Yep. It does take a little bit of effort. Just so you know. Be careful when you're trying to do that. You know, push on the joints on the legs too much. Felt myself kind of pushing on the joints. So watch your hands positions. If you don't break anything, it's completely up to you. But I believe it's heads on. So we have the articulation, him looking up and down. So then you can grab this piece and bring it down to where it's on his neck more. However you want it to look. There's no right or wrong. So that's how that looks. That looks fantastic. All the tack kits that they have, I don't think works as good as the Elven tack kit for this. So some of this, in my opinion, of course, is what it's made for. Alright. So let's take a look at the saddle. Here's the saddle. Obviously, this is the front piece. And then you need to come under here. You could heat this if you wanted to. But this is to soften it. The softer the plastic, the better it is to manipulate. Just pop out this piece right here. And now this saddle's going to sit. It's going to, when you first look at it, you're going like, oh, that's too far back. But it's going to sit a little towards the back because this is not really a horse. So you're just going to spread that out. Put this around. And you're going to you'll be able to feel like where it should be. So these, you can push up these stirrups. And all you have to do, may have to do this behind the camera, but I'll give you the idea. But you pull on it, make it tight, and then try to put your peg into the upper part of the harness. Almost there. Push down on it until you can get that to pop through the ball of the peg, and then it'll seat down on the post. That way it stays nice and secure. But because of the length of this, it's not going to sit up here on the thicker chest. It's going to sit down like on the bottom of the rib cage, and all you have to do is pull down your stirrups. So let me straighten his legs up, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, there he is. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about, how that kind of sits a little more to the back, but that's where it goes. If you try to shove it up here, you're not going to get it to fit. It's definitely different, but that's how, you can do it. Now, you may have noticed some of the, on the saddle, there's some holes. So you can hang different accessories. The Bossfight Studio made accessories for the Mighty Steeds line. I had an Elven. It was a quiver and a bow, and it kind of matched the deco. I can't find it. It's around here somewhere. And so you could add that to it. You could add anything you want to the actual Mighty Steeds. There's different accessory packs you can get. You can pop in there, so you can individualize it for yourself. But overall, I think that looks fantastic. Very nice. For me, I'll probably leave mine on there permanently. There's no sense for me to take it on and off. I'm not going to modify my Kawiki. It's just going to be here for my Elven warriors. So now, the only thing I'm going to bring up too is, best to my knowledge, there isn't a perfect rider. What does that mean? What that means is, regardless if you have the females or the male, they have this bottom waist skirt. Now they do sit. Let's take this off. See, like if you had that one I was talking about, you can put it right in that hole right there. So you can really spice up your Kawiki. So they sit very well. And then, but that's what you're running into in the back. So well, if you did like a standing, you know how some of these people stand and ride their animals, but sitting purposes, I don't think it's going to work out and look as great as you would hope. Because basically you're just going to hit that piece. So if you got her into like a standing position, that's the problem right there. And that's with all the Bossfight studios, if I can learn how to talk to the figures. There's always another option. So I'm going to show you that option. This is removable. And I'll be right back to show you. So before I show you this, I want to ask you guys, don't leave any stupid comments down below, because this is a toy, period. And we're all adults here, so please act like it. So you can remove this piece, and she actually has a paint on her body, which like maybe like a pair of underwear or bathing suit, and that would free her up, obviously, to ride her mighty steed. So she'll fit really nice over top of it. And she can hold that. You can fine tune it by putting her feet in the stirrups or whatever, but you get the idea that there is not a figure that doesn't have. That's why I'm a big fan of soft goods. So that's your option. That's really your only option to get the elves to fit. We're gonna be taking a look at the Elven Ranger soon. So he has kind of the same problem. I don't think you could remove the actual piece, but I could be wrong. We'll find out, and I'll let you guys know in that video. But that's pretty much the only way I could figure out if you wanted him to sit in the saddle. Okay, there's all three of them, all three female elves, and the Kawiki. Pretty cool. Nice plastic. Doesn't feel like it's going to break. Good quality. It's good playability. Lots of articulation. Good materials. Good customization. If I had to pick anything bad about it, it would be the ability to spread the legs open more. I think that's an improvement area there. So, but the colors, the sculpt, everything's beautiful on it. It's really cool. The ability for the figures to sit on it isn't the Mighty Steeds fault. It's more of those figures were designed and released before the Mighty Steeds was even thought of. So hopefully in the future we'll move to some more soft goods, and that'll make it look fantastic. These retail anywhere from $34.99 to $39.99. I think a lot of the marketing price on these things was $39.99. Obviously, you can get it higher and lower if you can find a good deal. These are fantastic for 1/18 scale. I haven't seen a Kawiki like this anywhere else, so definitely something to add to your collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Happy collecting, and we will see you in our next review.